you can go ahead and start the show as I'm catching up.
What's up with it, people? What's up? It's your boy, the People's Coach. Got the boy Trader
Oh, go
Commission
ahead.
up in the building. Yeah, man, we finna get it. Thursday night football, TNF, baby. Uh, Starting to show off on a sad note, though. Rest easy, Nealon, Marshawn Nealon for the Dallas Cowboys, man. Tragic story happened. So pretty much, you know, love to his family, man, and condolences to his family as well, and everybody within the Cowboys camp, man. Prayers are with y'all. It's unfortunate that we lost a young man that way. Don't have all the details, so I'm not gonna speculate or anything that happened. But they saying that it looks like he took his own life. And I do want to put this out there. Man, we got to start taking care of our mental health, people. It's real important. Um, that we start using channels to talk to people, get with people and stuff, man, or figure out ways to cope in this world. Cause yeah, man, like I said, it's unfortunate to go out with suicide. But that's it. What up, Trey?
Good, what's good? So of course, this. Sorry, I have technical difficulties. There's a lag, so I can hear everything in what CC's saying and see everything else. But I got so much stuff that's going on over here. It's ridiculous. But to caveat for what he was just saying, this unfortunate situation, as he said, prayers and everything goes out to his family, friends, Cowboy Nation, the NFL. You know, this is considered to be a fraternity, and to lose somebody or that organization, of course, is trying. Of course, like I said, we don't want to speculate, don't want to put out there no conspiracy theories or anything like that. But of course, there is some things surrounding based off of the stories that's being heard. If you've seen the press release released by, I think the Frisco PD and Adam Scheffler, which they spoke about certain things. So it's some speculation that's going on, but we'll wait a little while longer before we engage it and talk about it because we don't want to put out any misinformation or say anything that's not and seem like we're basically talking out the side of our necks. But of course, sit up in prayers to the family of Nealon and the Cowboys in general. Uh, on lighter things, CC, just as we is getting on here, we just having a discussion about college tonight, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos that's tapping in. But you know what I'm saying, there's an aspect before that. So before you get to the pros, there's levels to this. You have, of course, Pop Warner, in which most of us played. Now we have the emergence of flag, which is starting to become very popular. Then, of course, you have to go Pop Warner. You get into high school and middle school. Texas King, where you play y'all tackle football as young pups, second pros. So college, of course, y'all, if y'all haven't been in the rug, the CFP came out, college football playoff rankings came out, in which let's say top six. The top six is dominated by the SEC. The top two teams are Big Ten teams. So let's talk about that. CC, how did you feel once you seen the CFP came out? What did you think about the top six at minimum?
Well, sometimes I get Ohio State, I get Indiana right now. Well, I don't know. Indiana's still kind of suspect to me, but I get why they up there. I get why they up there, but then Texas A&M, to me, Texas A&M is the shock. Like how are they? How is their schedule not tougher than what Indiana has played or what Ohio State has incurred this far? I mean, I know Ohio State took over number one ranking, but the only team they played really was Texas. They haven't really played any tough teams on their schedule. When you look at Ohio State's schedule, and then when you look at Indiana, and you saw some of the big wins, but Texas A&M is playing a gauntlet and they running through teams. Like, did they? This is the team that just got the guy fired from LSU, and they still can't crack the top two. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what are the metrics? Like, is it just all over the place? Is it just reputation at times? I mean, we had this discussion about Penn State, and we seen what happened to them. So my thing is, when Indiana, like, are they go? When is Indiana gonna run into a real test, and when is Ohio State gonna have to prove themselves?
So I know one of the things that came up is that the CFP, I think the president of the CFP this year, she stated that they took a real hard comprehensive look at what like the simple stuff, like the head to heads, who's people's playing, the I guess you could say strength of schedule or the difficulty of playing, whether it's at home in someone's exterior environment, all that type. So they're trying to keep it simple this year, and make it to where it's not as of and all that comes down to it. But of course, like you said, it's there at this we're at number one, 4 and 5. I think who is it? Is Dane? Is this who's number 6?
I
Hold
forgot.
on, let me see.
Hold on a second. Yeah, because I was just talking at work
I can
about
tell you. I'll put
how these
back
rankings come about.
up now because computers my computers moving kind of slow. So
Georgia
okay,
is five, Alabama is four,
so is A and
and
M.
Miss,
Alabama is
Ole
Ole
Miss
Miss.
is six. Yeah, Ole Miss. So like Ole Miss losing
Yes,
to
Ole Miss
Bama,
is 6, and
losing
then
to
of course when
they lose to Bama or
you
Georgia.
finish out the top 10, Georgia.
It's hard. Yeah, I think you gotta have. I think they gotta have more balance than that. I think they gotta have more balance than that. I think they gotta have more um, a for sure way to see who's who. I know you can't do it all the time, but but when you put Ohio State's uh, schedule up, has it been tougher than Texas A&M? Has it? Hell, has it been tougher than Indiana? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know these teams are undefeated. We talking about three undefeated teams right here, but how do you sort out who's who? Like has Ohio State really played that many tough teams? Because I don't recall if they played any tough teams. Like I said, other than starting off the season with Texas. So it's like, how do they hold on to number one and you ain't played nobody?
So I think one of the things. Well, so one of the ones I think the one thing that is boding well for them is at the time in which they played Texas. Texas was what number one, and then
Number
they
one.
took care of business against Texas, and then after taking care of business against Texas, they have just continued to play, and but Texas has fallen off. So I can see what you're saying because at this point, isn't that strict? Isn't the Texas as an opponent lackluster because Texas is a lackluster team at this point? Like you said, who has Indiana played and beaten, and how are they right now? And as Anthony asked, how is Notre
Man, look,
Dame?
Notre Dame, Notre Dame is always gonna be there, Anthony, and we know why Notre Dame is gonna be there because they the only independent. They are independent. They control their own fate. All they gotta do is not lose three games. If they lose two every year, you gonna see Notre Dame because and plus they got a big following. It's a business move. we know Notre Dame don't always earn those high rankings like that because like I think they beat USC, but what was USC's ranking when Notre Dame beat them? I just look
Yeah,
at Notre Dame. They ain't really beat nobody. Remember, they lost to Georgia
they had
Tech.
one loss, 5-1,
Yeah, and they lost to Georgia Tech,
losing Georgia
who
Tech.
just recently fell. You know, huh?
Yeah, they did beat Georgia.
Yeah.
They lost to Georgia Tech. Uh, so and what it comes down to, because one of the things is, as I was talking about, like we just talked about, as I was listening to the question that was posed, outside of these 6 individuals or 10 individuals, who is the team in which everyone else is keeping an eye on? And of course, the name was USC. Why USC? Because USC only has lost 2 games to ranked opponents. They lost to Illinois by I think 6 points. They lost to Illinois by 6 points in Illinois, and then they lost to Notre Dame by 6 points, I think, in Notre Dame or whatever case like that. So it's like at this point, they looking at USC as the next one that's probably looking the dark is ranked because who Notre Dame is. Notre Dame has a media rights contract with CBS. They're independent that continues to have some. So honestly, they're going to continue to be that. No different from the Alabamas and the Georgias and all that type of stuff. Hell, Texas is ranked number 11. They're a 2-loss team that kind of have fallen from grace with 2 losses from number 1. They're currently sitting at number 11 in the CFP with 2 losses,
I
and
don't
not
know
to
how.
mention they lost to Ohio State, and then they lose to
I don't know how. I,
So I mean,
I don't
it
know
is
how.
what it is. So we'll see. It's still
I
games
mean,
to be played.
I get we beat Oklahoma. I get some of those, like some of the wins we just beat Vanderbilt, but we didn't look good in either one of those games. You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know. The eye test tell me that they got things all twisted, but this has been a different college year. I want to put this out there. The transfer portal is really working, people. When you look at it, it's really working. Like hey, the transfer portal, the NIL, all that stuff is working in college football. You're starting to see better products from teams that you never thought that you would see. I'm not just talking rankings. I'm talking the upsets. It's an upset every week. It's an upset every single week. Somebody's being upset. It's like these schools are coming with it now, and I feel bad for the coaches that got fired, but like, if you Penn State, who do you hire as your next coach? If you Florida, who do you get? And if you LSU, who do you get to coach LSU and bring you back to prominence? Forget dominance. You just want to be back in the hunt again because the SEC has left without you lately here at LSU. Well, LSU won what 2020 somewhere in there. Whenever Joe Burrow won, um, you see what was his name? Oregon, whatever his name was, got out of town real quick. He took that championship and said, "I'm gone." Are you there? I can't hear you. Yeah, but it's Thursday night is NFL. Looking at the Broncos and the Raiders, I mean, this is a game that should be easily handled by the Broncos,
Ariza,
but
yeah.
you never know. But you never know though.
He
You never,
it was a mutual leaving, but because he was 2 years removed from the national championship, and they wasn't being too successful. Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. I was hearing you. Like, sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm trying to fill in the gaps. There you go. I can hear him a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Uh, yeah, I can hear you. I
Can
can
you hear
hear
me?
you. I hear you saying, "Can you hear
Okay.
me?" Yeah, I can hear you. Uh, yeah. Turn it up
Okay.
to
You good? I'm good. Okay.
You wake it up, you in and out. So it's like thinking about the game tonight, the Raiders and the Broncos. I was just gonna put it out there that nothing's turning out. Even the NFL is turning different. Yeah, even the NFL is different right now. Um, so many upsets week to week. I can't wait till Sunday so we can talk about some of those upsets. But this game here with the Raiders, uh, man, I think the Raiders are tanking. I personally, I just got this feel. I would never associate tanking with anything that Tom Brady does, the GOAT does, but I think they tanking. I don't think I think they're trying to get their quarterback in the draft. They must know something we don't know about a quarterback coming out in this draft that they want or something. Because I'm serious, like I think they tanking. I mean, for a Pete Carroll team to be this sorry, man. I mean, he wasn't this sorry his first time around coaching New England. This is, you know, I mean, for real. So something's up. I mean, I hate to say it, man, but to me, it looked like the Raiders tanking. And it's like, why would you tank a season? Like any of those players that are a part of a team that's tanking, it's like that's tarnishing your career right there. From the coaches on down, the owners and the GMs are the only ones that don't have anything at stake when it comes to tanking. So to be a part of tanking, it just sucks, man. We see we see it in sports all the time now. It's a common thing. But do you want your name, everybody talk about a legacy? You want a part of your legacy to be, oh, I was on a team that tanked? What are we doing? Show some pride, Raiders.
So at this point, do you think that the whole the taking culture is something that goes into play for GMs and stuff like that? Like we know you can't just come out and say you're tanking, but do you think that becomes part of the strategy at this point in this day and age when it comes down to the GMs looking at how they're going to structure their teams going forward?
Well, yeah, I think it's a huge part of it because look at the Jets, right? The Jets, look at all the draft picks that they have now, and then look at where they projected to be in the draft. They just did this 3 years ago. Now the Jets are the only team that keeps tanking over and over and can't get it right. Like they doing it wrong. You doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like look at Chicago is on the upswing, right? Teams that have been notoriously down, and you know that man by now you should have some talent. How many top five picks do you need before you build a winner? Like so you definitely know tanking is a part of the culture. It's like so getting rid of Sauce Garner, the trade, and then getting rid of Quentin Williams. You know, you getting rid of your two of your best defensive players, so that you can get these draft picks, so that you can tank some more. Like what are we doing? Like I said, 2022, the Jets just did this, and they doing it again. It's like some teams are just stuck in it, Trey, and then some teams come out on the other side of it, right? Like I'm not gonna say New England tanked, but they were having a rough years with Bill Belichick, and those picks have paid off for them. Christian Gonzalez, when he's healthy, he's good. Uh, we see what Drake May's doing. You know what I mean? Like they got some players. What's his name? Butte. I don't know if he was a draft pick. Butte, whatever the
Okay.
wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? He playing decent. I mean, I see some teams turn the corner, but I see other teams, they living in misery.
So speaking on that, quick Q Dub now a Dallas Cowboy wearing the star. How did you feel once you seen that play? Well, once you seen that that trade come across your screen?
I'm gonna be honest. I was like, come on, Jerry, what are we doing? What are we doing? This team is going absolutely nowhere. Why would we make that move? I mean, I would have rather seen what I'm one of those fans, man. I would have rather seen what we was gonna get in the draft. Like for real. Like we went and got two players off two defenses that are almost as worse as we are. What are we doing? You went it when they said Logan Wilson from Cincinnati, and then they said Quentin Williams from the Jets. I said, yeah, we ain't trying to win. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we are definitely not trying to win. At least not right now. We not trying to win. I mean, I just look at the landscape. We ain't trying, like, and it's sad to see my Cowboys not trying. Like I said, we're gonna talk more Sunday about it, but I don't want to hear no more talk about Dak MVP. Man, MVP of what? Did you hear Draymond's comments? Called him a bum.
No, I
You
didn't
hear
hear that.
Draymond call Dak he called Dak a bum, man. He called Dak a bum. He said the Cowboys are never gonna win. And he said the Cowboys would never win with Dak Prescott because he has all right moments in the regular season, but he's a bum when it comes down to big games. And let me tell you, that was just proven Sunday. It was proven against the Broncos what Draymond is saying. I wouldn't call Dak a bum. I wouldn't. I ain't nearly got Draymond's pedigree or nothing. I wouldn't call Dak a bum, but I will say this, man. If those Cowboy fans that follow watch Dak in those games, man, in those moments, where's the sense of urgency? Where is the fire? Where is the I want to compete? How do you take a sack on 4th and 5? Fourth and goal. It's 4th and goal, but you at the 5 yard line. How do you take that sack? You throw that football. You got nothing to lose. It's 4th down. If they intercept it in the end zone, what? They not going nowhere. Why would you take a sack right there? Like for real, man. I don't understand Dak Prescott. I don't get it.
So, what would you say that? Because we could take a little back a trip back down memory lane, as we know the Cowboys had the game against the Arizona Cardinals on Monday. Um, had a high sense of urgency or high expectancy that the Cowboys was going to walk into uh, that stadium and come out victorious. In which it didn't go as such. The Cowboys end up getting cooked. Well, you'll say cooked, but however, they did only score 10 points on offense in a 17-27 loss, in which they lost by 10 points. But they only scored 10 points on offense. The other touchdown came from a blocked field goal and recovery by, of course, the late Darren Nealon. So, what did you think about that? Of course, we know one of the biggest things that they're talking about is the defense and your man Bland getting baked off the far yard line with the footwork of Marvin Harrison Jr. He tripped, but does he get a pass for that?
No, Bland got beat so bad, but it wasn't just that play.
Correct.
Marvin Harrison hasn't looked that good in his career. Let's just keep it real. In his pro career, he has not looked that good. But that's the state of the Cowboys right now. Is that Jacoby ain't looked that good in life, but he looked great against us, man. Like and Jacoby's been playing decent this year. I'm not trying to bash, but I'm saying like you putting up career numbers against us. You having career, like maybe not yardage, but your accuracy and everything goes up. Bland, every time they needed a first down, they threw at Bland, and he was nowhere in the picture. Why is he playing 12 yards back? Trey? Is he not healthy? Does he not trust? I mean, is it the injury? I mean, coming off injury, does he not trust his body or something? Because he's playing way too far back to even be impactful on a play. Like, like what are you doing? It's 3rd and 6. It's 3rd and 6, and you 12 yards back. What are we doing? Like, yeah, I don't think Bland's fully healthy, or he doesn't fully trust his body. Um, and I told you already about Schottenheimer. As far as I know, knock against Schottenheimer. I know you tried, but that is not a great effort. What we got going on right there. Like I said, the offense. 2 weeks in a row, the offense has laid duds. I'm glad we got a bye week this week because 2 weeks in a row, that high power offense did nothing. Um, and I think a part of it is, like I said, Dak is a huge part of it. Like, dude, you got to throw the football. Like that game, how many times did Dak pat that football once or twice before he took a sack? Man, if you could pat that ball once, you can throw it. You can throw it, and
He
you're a
gonna pat
10 year
that
vet.
ball. Gonna pat that ball. So when you look at it, right, as you said, Jacoby Brissett was 21 for 31 for 261 yards, a rushing touchdown, and 2 passing touchdowns. Marvin Harrison, 7 receptions on 96 yards receiving and a touchdown, which, like we said, the touchdown was the one we seen off the rip where he set up and double moved and bounced back inside off a quick slant. Well, he had to do much because Bland, who was already playing him off in the end zone, gave him that, but he just didn't get a chance to even make a play on it because he was tumbling. The only bright spot, I guess you could say, was the rushing aspect, which Williams had 96 yards, 83 yards for 15 carries. Um, Currently, the Cowboys are 3-5-1. Do you see any recovering, CC? I know. Let's take off the emotion hat, take off the die hard Cowboy fan hat. As an analyst, do you see the Cowboys potentially making a comeback and getting back into contention for the playoffs?
Okay, simulate your mind to this. What if we don't have to do all that? What if all we got to do is win all we got to do is win our division? We only lost one game in the division to the Eagles. What if we sneak a win against the Eagles? I wish Bishop was on the show right now because that's a good conversation. What if we sneak that win against the Eagles? Then they got two losses in the division, and then we go ahead and we beat the Commanders and the Giants one more time. We win our division. We got to weigh in. We got to focus on beating the Eagles, though. It all predicates on beating the Eagles. I mean, how's that for analysis? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody want to play the long game. We ain't got to match them record for record. We just got to win our division. We just got to beat the teams in our division to win that division. We don't have to match them record for record. Like, and then the Eagles can go in with a better record as the number 5, 6, or 7 seed. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, and we go in as the fourth seed automatically. I mean, so it's a path, but are we going to achieve that? Would be the question. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is Dallas even looking at that? Like, do you have analytics on that? But I could see that being our way in.
From last week, was there any teams that surprised you?
Yeah, yeah. How about the Pittsburgh Steelers? That was surprising. Woo, they put a thumping on 6 turnovers for the Colts. 4 or 5 of them was on the quarterback. 4 or 5 of them was on Daniel Jones.
And
Yeah, Tomlin, I stand down.
and you see how swiftly, just about how they turned on Daniel Jones when you take in consideration, like it's I mean they're 7-2, but it was one game, but the Steelers made their way back. They made a play defensively. Defense wins ball games. It was just a bad game for Daniel Jones. Hopefully he recovers from it and it doesn't become something that where now is like this is him consistently because he has another game like that. Basically, if they don't win, they're going to start coming for Daniel Jones. So they
You
can't turn
already know
around and drop another game.
At least not like that. You can't lose like that. Like 5 turnovers on the quarterback, man. Like that's tough sledding. Like that's brutal. But hats off to Pittsburgh for taking advantage. I mean, Pittsburgh's offense didn't really have to do much because they got the ball in great position a whole bunch. But hats off to the defense for causing if the defense still gave up a lot of yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Colts was moving the ball, but hey, if you can cause turnovers, that's just what's the best kind of stop in football? A turnover. Like so, hey, but now the question is, can the Steelers get that many turnovers consistently to make their defense work something?
I don't know because they're I think they're the favorite for this coming week. Um, Last week there wasn't much they did. I don't know what they're going to do because I look at it like when you take a comment when you look at it, is Aaron Rodgers making the Steelers any better than what they were with any other quarterback in the last 3 years?
No, no, he's not making them better.
So what is their plan? Like, what is the Steelers' plan? They continue to win, and like someone has said, I think you said plenty of times, these are empty calories that they're gaining. They have the longest streak for the most consecutive winning seasons, but what is it putting in? We just see how some teams have turned their fortunes around through the draft. The Steelers aren't in a good position in the draft to draft the players in which they need. They are currently seemingly needing a quarterback, or they need to bring someone in that can. Because at this point, I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to play next year, so they can bring in a quarterback next year that can learn under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers, the great bad man, because he's not playing like that. He's on his legs already out the door. Aaron Rodgers could care less, and he always said he doesn't his isn't in his cards to be a bridge to someone younger and teach them. He comes to play ball. So you don't have that. So they have to basically be able to draft somebody that's ready to come in and take the helm, or they have to be ready to draft that player and then go find a suitable bridge player to help them to teach the quarterback at the same time keep them in contention while they're playing. And who do they have in doing that? Like, I mean, they might have someone.
Somebody finna fall in their lap. His name's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray will fall right into Tomlin's lap because I think he done in Arizona. I think that's it for him. Basically, I know they put him on the injured reserve, but he was gonna be benched for Jacoby Brissett anyway. So I mean, Gannon didn't want to say that. You want to keep confidence up, you want to keep morale up, and you want to keep them guessing. So that's cool on Gannon's part. I'm not mad at him for not coming out and saying it. But Trey, we know that that's it. And I think a guy like Tomlin could get the most out of a Kyler Murray. I think you know what I'm saying. Like Tomlin. I mean, he's still a good coach. It's just that the decisions that Pittsburgh makes. I mean, like you all in on an old defense, and it hasn't really paid off the way you thought it was going to pay off. You in on an old quarterback. You got an old receiver. I mean, I don't know. Like and they only gonna get older. So you gotta switch some stuff up. But I look maybe Kyler Murray, maybe even Daniel Jones. I don't know. You don't know if Indy gonna give him the bag or not. So you know what I'm saying. But hey, it's gonna be some options for him. You know how he do. We might see Carson Wentz in Pittsburgh.
So, additionally, right? What do we say about what say ye about the Carolina Panthers currently sitting at 5-4? I didn't see that, and I still continue to pick against them. I don't know about this week. I have to look at it, but I have been reluctant to pick them. I don't know. That might change this week. Do you believe that the Carolina Panthers are as advertised, or are they just hidden, just be fortunate at certain positions at certain times where it works for them, in your opinion?
Well, they just take it, man. Look, they taking advantage of the situation. I mean, I don't know how many games you can win with your quarterback barely throwing 100 yards like this last game. Bryce Young did not look good. You got to win, so you got to say that the coaches at least the coach got them fighting. I like Canales, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Canales.
He got them fighting. He got them fighting right now, and that's a good sign to see for the future. But yeah, it's a little bit of a shock, but not as much as a shock as the Chicago Bears at 5-3 right now. Like uh, Cincinnati, man, what y'all got to do to get a win? I mean, Flacco is playing lights out. He led you on a comeback. All you had to do was tackle that guy, and the game's over. You couldn't even tackle him. All you
Well,
had to do was tackle him.
you see what it happens when it becomes defense against offense, and you see what Brown came out and said, in which he was ridiculed for it and said he shouldn't have said the things. What do you think about that? When it spills from the locker room into the media and the frustration is mounting, do you fault a player for how Chase Brown came out and talked and said what he said, or do you kind of like let it go, get them have a conversation with everybody and go from there?
As a fan, I'm glad he did it. It shows
Okay.
that players care. It shows that the players care. I mean, I know all the other players, the professional players, they say, "Oh, that's not professional. You keep that in the locker room." But at least he care. Like, at least he
Mm.
care. Like at least he care enough to check. He probably got a swole jaw or something in that locker room though for running his mouth like that. But hey, consequences to acts, and it's like, how many times we gonna put on a show like that, man? That was an offensive display. 47-42 was like the final score, and but to lose when all you got to do is tackle a guy. All you got to do is make one tackle, and you can't even do that. Like I don't, yeah, I agree with him. Like like I agree with him. Offense is playing way too hard to keep losing like that.
So another game, of course, the Patriots now 7-2, knocked off the Atlanta Falcons. We thought the Falcons would come out with some fight because we see them do it before when these top teams come to calling. The Falcons come to clawing, and then it didn't go as such. They took the L 24-23 this week. Falcons dropped to 3-5. Um, the Patriots though, is this Vrabel 2.0 and him and McDaniels doing their thing, or is it just the fact that no one really has anything on May and he's able to capitalize off of it?
No, I think it's. I told you it's Drake May, man. Vrabel finally has a quarterback. He doesn't have a Ryan Tannehill or a Fitzpatrick or anything. He has a real quarterback. He has a Drake May. So with his defensive mind and the way that Josh McDaniels schemes the offense, man, the Patriots are set up for success. Now, whether they reach that this year or whether it's next year or the year after, but you will see them as contenders here real soon. And Vrabel got to be thinking his lucky stars that he got Drake May. You know, like if he had stayed, he been 2 years? He two years or so removed from Tennessee. So you look at it like, would he be having this success with a Cam Ward? I doubt it. You got the right quarterback, Vrabel. Now you just got to capitalize.
It's funny you say that because that was my next place I was going to. Cam Ward. What do you think is the feeling when you get drafted as the number one overall draft pick? We know your pockets are going to have some heftiness to them. However, if you're drafted by the number one if you're drafted by that number one team, chances are they didn't do too well or probably haven't been that well. When you look at it in Tennessee, do you think Cam will be better in the next 2 to 3 years?
No, because Tennessee won't be better in the next 2 3 years. Like that was a decent franchise. They used to always compete. I don't know how they got to this point to where they in the gutter, like they in the gutter right now. Uh, but yeah, Cam Ward, man, when you're just in a bad place right now. You're in a bad organization right now. Like they should have a good running game. The offensive line should be at least a little bit decent, but they have none of that right now. It's like what is going on? Like what is going on with them? Like is it the leadership at the top? Is it the effort from the players? I mean, uh, if you Cam, like you're in a bad situation. I mean, no matter how talented you are, how good you are, losing sucks the life out of you. So yeah, you come from winning, and now all you're doing is losing. So yeah, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. Hopefully, he keeps his head up. We saw this with Justin Fields. We saw this with Baker Mayfield. Even though Baker Mayfield came out pretty good, right? Baker Mayfield came out good. He came
Yeah,
out
yeah, but it took
and
him 4 teams.
no, Baker Mayfield had the Browns. Remember his second year or something,
Oh
the
yeah, you're
second or
right. You're
third
right.
year in the league, he was in the playoffs. You know, but 1 year does not make a whole. But I'm saying like a lot of times you don't see these first overall quarterbacks. Look at Caleb. Like you don't see him doing anything. Uh, Caleb, they bashing the kid. They still bashing the kid, and I think he playing better than he played last year. They still got the same record as they had last 5-3 right now. So we're gonna see how
Yeah, they're
that goes.
basically at the
But
same year. They're at the same point they were last year at this time. So we've seen the debacle the last 10 games or the
yeah,
last few games is where we've seen him fall apart at. So we'll see how that goes. Um, Next teams, the Minnesota Vikings faced off against the Detroit Lions, in which the Vikings came out victorious by a score of 27-24. What we didn't expect. Um, Jared Goff was 25 for 37, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was the top passer in the game. Sam Laporta went off for 6 receptions, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Uh, Jones came back. Aaron Jones came back, 9 carries for 78 yards. Uh, Defense, I think, was one of the key aspects. JJ McCarthy proved to be fathomable and did what he needed to do. He got his team a win. Do we see an uptick now for the Minnesota Vikings? And is it going to be downtrodden for the Lions, or was the Minnesota Vikings just happened to catch the Lions slipping, and we're going to see the Lions get back to their usual thing come these following weeks?
well, the Lions got a tough task, Trey, because they got so many injuries. It's ridiculous. I heard a Lion fan say today that they should investigate the NFL should investigate how hard they practice and training over there with Dan Campbell because all they players keep getting hurt. You know, but yeah, it's unfortunate. I, the Lions, there's too many injuries, man. How far can you go if you keep trying to plug those gaps? like you, Penei Sewell. I don't know if he playing this coming week, but he was hurt. You know, your best offensive lineman was hurt. All your secondary is depleted. And still, you only lost by 3 points against. You know, I know the last touchdown was almost like a garbage touchdown, but the Vikings. Real quick on the Vikings, Trey. The Vikings. I said they were going to win that division. They proved me wrong already. Um, but JJ McCarthy, like I said before, is a winner. His numbers don't show it, people, but he figures out like he made the money pay. But we saw what happened to Tim Tebow when you could only make plays here and there. So I think JJ McCarthy got to start showing. I mean, you got Justin Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson, and you 14 for 25 and 143 yards, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing? You got if you saw any of that game, then you saw Justin Jefferson adjust to the poor throws that his quarterback throws. Now that's a cold receiver right there that adjusts to the poor throws. You know what I mean? He threw quite a few poor throws, like and Justin was able to get his hands on mostly all of them, man. So that's an attribute to the work that the receiver puts in. Quarterback got to pick it up.
All right, just a few more games from last week in which we were talking about. First, one of the opponents that plays tonight, we talked about one in briefly with the Raiders. As we know, the Raiders played against the Jaguars. It went down to overtime. Raiders actually had a chance to beat the Jaguars. It went awry on the 2 point conversion, as opposed to going for one. As opposed to going to tie it and end with a tie. Pete went for the dub. It didn't work out. However, if Gino could have got the ball out and over, it would have been a touchdown because he was sitting in the back of the end zone wide open. Of course, the player of the game was Brock Bowers, 12 receptions, 127 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns as a tight end. But we're not talking about that game. We're talking about the Denver Broncos who faced off against the Houston Texans, in which the Broncos came out victorious. Their third 3 games in a row, in which we know, and they came out victorious 18-15. Bo Nix 18 for 37, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins 15 carries for 61 yards. In your opinion, CC, are the Denver Broncos starting to turn into a top tier team, or are they just catching low hanging fruit talent?
I think they defense. Y'all come on the show all the time. Said defense wins championships, and I think that defense is the reason why they are even in the discussion because they offense 3 quarters they did nothing against the Texans. 3 quarters they did nothing. You know what I mean? Like the last game, they seem to only have offense in the fourth quarter. Everything else is in the second half of games, but their defense keeps them in the game so that they can come back and win those games. So I gotta say Sean Payton. I'm not a huge fan of yours, but you got a good defense over there, coach. You got to, they sacking the quarterback and they tackling. They one of the few teams that tackle.
Mm. Next up game. Probably not so much to say about this, but because it was plays, we're gonna say something anyway. Los Angeles Rams currently 6-2 in the division, leading the NFC West. Faced off against the 1-8 New Orleans Saints, in which the Saints took a L by the score of 34-10. Matt Stafford was 24 for 32, 281 yards with 4 touchdowns. Puka Nacua 7 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown. Kyron Williams, 25 carries for 114 yards and a touchdown. It was all Saints all day. Are the Saints in tank mode, or you think they're going to try to get some dubs?
I think the Saints just sorry. I mean, I don't think they tanking. You would be tanking if you stuck with that same quarterback and you wasn't trying to make moves. But they've switched up. They switched quarterbacks. They throwing stuff at it to try to switch to get back on the winning track. But some injuries have taken key injuries have taken them out of some stuff. You know, They haven't had Olave really healthy all that much. They just traded Rashid, right? They traded one of the receivers away. They traded Rashid, right? Shahid, is that his name? Something like that. They traded him.
Rasheed. Yeah.
Yeah, they traded him. And then you're looking at but what you look at when you see the Saints is just the transition of moving away from a coach and then bringing in a coach that really wasn't prepared, and now you got another new coach. So right now, it's that transition for the Saints. The veterans on that team should be looking to get out of town. They'll try to get on a winner. I mean, it
I was
should be a
about
lot
to
of
ask,
trade me time.
what do you think is the outcome? Like they have Olave. I'm very sure he's not leaving there yet. But Alvin Kamara, trade deadline came and went. Alvin Kamara is still the Saint. Do you think that's by design? Do you think he's going to be probably marketable come the off season, or do you think he's a Saint to stay?
I thought he was a lifetime Saint, but I think he should. I think he'll make a move. I see teams like it's two running backs right now that I see making moves in the offseason right now. And Kamara is one of them. I can see Kamara being either a Kansas City Chief, uh,
Mm.
or I can see Brees Hall being a Kansas City Chief. But one of those two are going to end up in Kansas City. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but I would think that the Chiefs they don't have Patrick Mahomes can't be your only run game. You're gonna have to get some run game to replace Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. So Kamara, you might have a job in Kansas City.
Next up, two more games to talk about. Then we get to the picks for tonight and the Sunday morning game since we'll be on after that. First up, the Seattle Seahawks was the Monday night game. Um, they finished off the Washington Commanders. Unfortunate situation for the Commanders as they lose their quarterback with a dislocated elbow, which we're going to talk about. I'm very sure you're going to bring up and speak on it. But in any case, the Seahawks get the dub 38-14. Sam Darnold 21 for 30 for 24, 330 yards, four touchdowns. Chris Rodriguez rushed the rock 12 times for 65 yards and a touchdown. And Jason Smith and Jigba, who doesn't get enough love when you talk about those receivers from Ohio State. I think he's probably the better one, even though you have the Olaves, the Harrisons. I think Jigba probably is that dude. 8 receptions for 129 yards, no touchdown that night. Do you think the Seahawks are the real deal? And what do you think the outcome will be for the Commanders and Jaden Daniels?
um, Jaden Daniels, man, that's unfortunate. Hey, Dan Quinn, you got to protect your assets out there, man. The guy was the game was over. He shouldn't have been in the game. And that's just my opinion. He shouldn't have been in the game uh, in the first place. Suffer that injury. It's unfortunately that he took that injury, but the Commanders will be back tough because we know as long as Jaden Hill's well, man. We saw the game that he got when he healthy, so we know they're gonna play. And the Seahawks are the real deal right now. And Smith and Jigma, I think Ibuka giving him a run for his money, but I think he's one of the better Ohio State receivers. I think but I also think that um, I'm not gonna be like all those experts and say Sam Darnold ain't got it, but I'm gonna say Sam Darnold he just got to do enough to not blow it. like really, you just got to do enough to not blow it and let that defense do its thing. They got another championship defense there too. The schemes that they run are unbelievable, and the way they get after the run and and the pass. Yeah, I don't know. You don't see too many teams that have both still, but they got both of them. Looking like the team that you rep from a few years ago. That's what Seattle's looking like. They looking like the
Mm,
49ers from what 20 what was it 22, 21, 22.
22. And so, and when you look at that, now the NFC East, NFC West has three. I mean, has two seemingly powerhouse, and then you have another one in the 49ers who are hanging around with all the injuries and stuff they have, with the expectation that they're going to start getting people back. So it's going to get interesting in the NFC East. I mean, NFC West. We're going to see how that ends up playing out. So the last game from last week, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs faced off against the Buffalo Bills, in which the Buffalo Bills are currently 5-1 versus the Kansas City Chiefs during the regular season. So why does that even come into question continuously? Buffalo Bills with the win, 6-2. Chiefs fall to 5-4 after taking the L 28-21. A game in which Josh Allen was 23 for 26, 273 yards with one touchdown. 27 carries for James Cook, 114 yards. But Dalton Kincaid, 6 receptions receiving, 101 yards, one touchdown. Advantage Bills, win Bills. Do you think this is a snapshot of what the AFC Championship winner will be?
No, no. Um, I, right now, a few weeks ago, I was saying, man, the Chiefs gonna give them the business, but uh, it don't look like they're interested in giving nobody the business right now, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, I just see the Chiefs. No matter, I see them struggling. I see them struggling, but I see them struggling defensively. I don't see them struggling offensively as much. I mean, the 21 points, you can win some games with 21 points, but you can't win giving up all those yards like that. Like man, make the guy throw some incompletions, knock a pass down, do something. Like 23 for 26. Come on, man. And you the Kansas City Chiefs, like you the reigning AFC champs. The reigning AFC champs, this is what you're doing? Yeah, no, that's not good enough.
It seems like that's what it goes back to. What have you done for me lately? And that championship, the AFC being the AFC champion was last year. We're up on a new year. Some things remain the same, and some things seem to change. But of course, like you said, going forth, uh, we get a chance to see they. Even though, like I said, they're notice I said they're five. The Buffalo Bills are 5-1 in championship against the Kansas City Chiefs in regular season, but I think they're what 0-2, 0-3,
0-4,
0 and
baby.
4 in the
0-4.
playoffs. So that gonna say when it counts the most, when it's win or go home.
Right.
So it's like, do they change that misfortune around? Like that's their Achilles heel at this point, and that you can't deny that. So, I mean, we'll see what type of team they'll be. Patrick Mahomes get a chance to kind of like get his sea legs underneath him with everyone. They just got Rice back. Um, Pacheco was out, so he's currently out and expected to be back next week after they come back off the bye. So you don't know what the aspect, what is to come, but we do know that the Kansas City Chiefs tend to show up in the playoffs, and they are seen destined to be in the playoffs. I know I seen a model the other day in which actually it did have the Chiefs and the Bills playing in the playoffs, or even playing in the Final Four of their in their division. I mean, in their conference. But interestingly enough, that model had the Indianapolis Colts beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and even going on to beat the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl.
Hmm. Hey, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Uh, I don't know if that's gonna hold true, but hey, anything's
No.
possible.
So tonight's games, you have the Las Vegas Raiders coming off a overtime loss in which they could have won or at minimum tied versus what seems to be the hot streaking or one of the hot streaking actually between all the AFC in the AFC West teams seem to be doing some damage. Now they're facing Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Now, before we get into talking in depth about the Denver Broncos, one of the things I've seen in reference to is Pete Carroll is seen to be amongst a bunch of legends in his own division. We got Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, is it John Harbaugh in
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh in Los Angeles with the Chargers, and then I don't know why I keep forgetting his name.
Sean Payton. I
Sean
think Sean
Payton
Payton.
Sean Payton in Denver. Now, is it fair to say that Harbaugh is a legend in the NFL?
But he's a legend. Period. He's just a football. He's just a football legend. Period. Like so, yeah. I mean, that can fit. He's a legend. Period. Coaching wise, he's a legend. Yeah.
Uh, what makes him a legend, though?
Because it doesn't take him long to flip a team around and make them competitive. Like the
That part.
Chargers weren't this competitive. The Chargers weren't this competitive. He did it with San Francisco the first time around. Like what? Like it took him 2 years and they were competitive, right? By
Correct.
like so it's like yeah, it doesn't take this guy long to put the fire and the hunger in his players to want to go out there and win and do their job well, man. That's whew,
I just look at
great
it as a
supervisor.
slight. I think as I see it as being slightly unfair because in this group, Harbaugh is the only one with like all of them have been to Super Bowls as a NFL coach, but Harbaugh, unfortunately, is the only one in this group that has not won one. Andy Reid has been to what? Four of them, five of them, six of them.
Wow, six
He
Super
been to
Bowls, I think.
two with Philadelphia, and three with Kansas City, right?
No, he been to five with Kansas City, right? And one
Yeah,
with
five with Kansas
Philadelphia.
City and two with
One with
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
One
Only
with
with
so
one.
that's six, and then he has
Yeah.
three Super Bowl rings. Pete Carroll has been to two Super Bowls. It has one Super Bowl ring, and then
Peyton
Peyton
has
has been to one Super Bowl and has one Super Bowl ring.
has one ring.
Harbaugh has been to one Super Bowl and has no Super Bowl rings. But in any case, he's in a league with a division of champions in state, um, in which they face off tonight. One is on the opposite spectrum of the other. What do you think about the game tonight? And then give me your pick. Las Vegas Raiders, Denver Broncos. What say ye?
Like I said, I already said I think the Raiders are tanking. Tonight is the night to prove me wrong. It's a division rival. At least hang in the game. If you're not gonna win the game, at least compete. Because I went to a game where I saw you guys get 40 yards of total offense. I don't want to see that tonight. That's just awful. That's just awful. So yeah, come on, Raider Nation, man, rise up one time, stand up tonight on this Thursday night. And on the other side, Denver, man, get off to a better start. Than it's so boring watching a Denver Bronco game when you're only going to score in the fourth quarter. Like, come on, man. Like, Bo Nix, start off early, march downfield, put some points up. And I'm taking the Broncos, by the way.
Bo Nix, 1,976 yards on the year, 17 touchdowns, six interceptions. His top receiver is Cortland Sutton, 38 receptions, 566 yards, four touchdowns on the year. Their top rusher is, of course, J.K. Dobbins, 135 carries, 695 yards, four touchdowns on the year. That goes to show like there's not a high poweredness in their offense to where you just talk about. However, they get the job done. It's not what we have seen potentially of Peyton's type offenses. We always see yesterday some type of someone throwing it all around the yard and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not where they are currently. But it's effective for them at this point. Can Geno Smith turn it around? They no longer have Jacoby Myers there because he's now in Jacksonville after the
Oh yeah,
trade deadline. He has moved on. Um, Genty is there. Bowers is there. They have young talent. Trey Tucker now probably takes over as the de facto top receiver in their room. Um,
oh,
and it's crazy when you think about it. The Las Vegas Raiders could have potentially had both Antonio Brown and Devontae Adams
and Devontae Adams. Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, and
with
and,
the
and now
Brock
they
Bowers.
struggling.
Well, you look at
Yeah,
that, but that's
um,
not what they have.
that's not what they got, and they're not gonna take advantage. But Jacoby Myers, I just want to throw that out there, man. You went from bad to worse, like in your quarterbacking situation.
You
It
think
don't get no
so?
worse for you. Yeah, you went from bad. I mean, come on, man. You went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They ain't that guy ain't burning up nothing with his arm. He ain't burning up nothing with his arm over there. So you know, you know, good luck with that.
Tonight, I am on the same thing that CC's on. I am also taking the Denver Broncos to be victorious tonight. I think uh, Bishop sent his message, sent a message. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure that he said that he's got the Broncos as well. Um, but the
Goat
second
say
game,
he's taking Denver.
he's
Goat
taking
say he's
Denver.
taking Denver.
Yeah, I figured that. So the second game though, not tonight, but the NFL's game at 8:30 Central Standard Time. So it'll be on before the Atlanta Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts. I'm very sure we're probably all going to be the same across the board once again. But as we've seen, the Colts do have the propensities to become uh, giant slayers in a sense. Do you think they slay the giant in the Colts this weekend in Berlin, or do you think the Colts gallop onto victory, stomp out the birds, stomp the feathers off them, and keeps pushing?
Now I almost want to go with the Falcons, man. It's real
Mm,
close for me because this game is on a neutral field. Uh, we just saw the Colts turn the ball over an awful lot. I'm gonna be bold and I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons in that. I'm taking the Falcons in that. Well, hold on, wait. Michael Penix Jr. playing, right?
correct.
Okay, yeah, I'm going with the Falcons because if it's Kirk Cousins, I was gonna say nah, scrap that. But if it's Michael Penix Jr., then I'm going with that. B. John Robinson. Uh, I think I think it's gonna be a battle of the running backs, Trey. Taylor versus Robinson, and I think So I think both running backs about to showcase. I think B. John gonna show up and show out. He gonna be like, hey, I'm here too. I'm here too, OG. I'm here.
So that is a good. That definitely could be a battle of the running backs. Bijan Robinson, John Taylor, in Berlin in the environment where it's neutral playing ground. It's just going to be a matter of fact of what the locals cheer for, who they cheer for the most. So it could potentially be that they might be some people. You got to think it's like I ain't gonna call them a third world country, but it's like it could be primitive to where you might see a lot of dirty birding going on because that was the heyday of the Atlanta Falcons and the dirty bird. So that could be the most, saying in polarizing thing in which you have when you look at these two teams. So that could be something that can put wind beneath the wings of the Falcons to where you get a B. John Robinson, um, maybe Dirty Burden in the end zone, or Algier, or Drake London, or Kyle Pitts, or any of them, or saying so that could be, or even if let's say if Kirk Cousins get in, I can see Kirk Cousins doing it and getting the Dirty Bird in. So saying that part, saying comes to fact. So but in that case, any case, I'm taking not the Falcons. I'm taking the Colts in this one. I feel that that Daniel Jones is gonna bounce back and he's going to have a good game, and they're going to right the ship. Now, I will say this: the real MVP in this game, however, is Kirk Cousins, because today his contract, and because he's still on the roster in Atlanta, was being fully guaranteed for $96 million. I mean, was it 90 million? I think it's 90 million or 91 million plus a $9 million signing bonus, which means this man gets paid 100 million for a year. Now that's tender. That's tender. That
Man,
contract is tender.
we've been saying for years he got the best agent in the game. Um, well, we should all be so lucky. Like, I would love to meet Kirk Cousins' agent. Like, what's the secret? Like, for real. Hey, Kirk Cousins, and then you don't even have to do nothing now. Like, you can just sit back and you can just sit back, collect it, and smile. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm very sure his agent is almost untouchable at this point. He probably I don't know what his
Right?
price is.
And I'm wondering why nobody has his agent. I want to hear people. I want to hear people say, "I got Kirk Cousins' agent." I would go get that guy. For
I just want to learn from him. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna reach out to that cat. Be like, I'm firing
real.
athlete agent. I've been admiring your work for some time now, and I just want to know what your secret is. Or it could be like we was talking about Kyle Howard Roseman. Maybe Kurt's agent got some stuff on them too, and he's like, "Yo, it's like you already know what it is. Get down to lay down. What you trying to do?"
Howie Roseman still came up big after the trade deadline.
Again,
You know,
golly,
you know,
Jalen
all these people
Phillips.
making trades, and his team on a bye week, and he still out trades and out he outmaneuvers people.
Adding depth to the Eagles.
Yeah,
Now, of course,
scary.
it remains to be seen what or how it happens, but on paper, how he makes it work. I don't know how he does it, but he
Scary,
does do it.
scary man, scary guy.
So whoever he's teamed up with that is getting the dirt on these GMs and owners and coaches and stuff like that, where they got a deal.
I mean, and
I
I think all the teams. I think every team after that trade should be paying attention, but I don't think teams really, I mean, the guy is giving you a blueprint. You know, he's giving you a blueprint on how to do it in the modern times, on how to finesse trades and how to get free agents and stuff in this time. Like, you got some coaches still trying to do it on the old term, like the old times of free agency and stuff, and then you got some that's new that's trying to figure it out. But then you got, GM, you got old GM, and you got young GM. Excuse me, I said coaches, but they trying to figure all that stuff out. But this guy seems to be mastering it, like for real. And I just sit as a Dallas Cowboy fan in that same division and just say, "Wow, I remember when that used to be
Yeah.
us."
But you know what? It's funny you say that. So right before we get up out of here, I heard a conversation this morning from your GM slash owner, Jerry Jones, in which he has stated that he's going to start doing things differently. Why has he stated he's going to start doing things differently? Because he says he feels like he doesn't have too much time left. And he wants to sit up. So he's like, he is in a get it, make it happen now, as opposed to make it happen later. In your opinion, hearing something like that, we all get what he's talking about. We understand what he's talking about. We're really not having to really say what it is he's talking about. But as a Dallas Cowboy fan, does that give you a warm and fuzzy or make you feel a certain type of way?
Well, I got to see the proof, man. First, like, cause you started off all crazy, right? Like, if you were really trying to win, straight. If this guy was really trying to win, then we know he wouldn't have made that Michael Parsons move off of his emotions. If this guy was really strategic and trying to win, I mean, even if he didn't pay Micah, he could have negotiated some. He's talking about he had conversations with Micah. He could have talked to him like, "Hey, yo, what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure you get paid, but let's make this move to go after this Super Bowl right here, right?" He could have added Micah and then added some pieces on if he was trying to chase a ring or he was trying to do anything. But he did not do that. And now here we are, 3-5-1, and look at what he's doing. He's scrambling. So man, he's just running his mouth. And as long as they keep putting a darn mic in his face and a camera in his face, he gonna say some dumb stuff, man. Like I'm over Jerry already. I still
In which
rep the Cowboys, but I'm over Jerry.
he said that and that's what he said. He stated that the Micah Parsons deal didn't go as planned, and he takes on full ownership for that. And but he's like, and this hence the reason I'm presuming that the Damian Williams uh trade was his beginning of him doing whatever it needs to be done to make the team um, competitive, because he wants to see them winning while he's still alive before he goes on to glory. From what I'm understanding, he wants to see his Dallas Cowboys back on top and back um, being competitive and winning and playing for championships as opposed to just being the star, I guess you could say.
Okay, I just want to end on this note. That's funny that you say you heard that. See, I haven't heard this story, but it's funny that you say you heard that story. When see, this is Jerry always trying to steal the spotlight and trying to kill stuff. See, this is what I'm talking about. They was just talking about this for Ursay, for Mr. Ursay, the coach. That's why the coach riding so hard. So now Jerry, oh, I'm stop. This guy's already gone. I mean, you feel what I'm saying? That's why they saying the coach are riding so hard, and they playing with the spirit of Jim Ursay. So yeah, it's like yeah, this guy always want And I just heard that story about the Ursay thing, and now you say you heard this about Jerry.
Yeah,
Like yeah,
I heard it
stop
this.
it, get out of
I
here.
heard it yesterday. I think I heard it yesterday morning when I was going to work. And it was on the sport. I always used to listen to ESPN all day, all night when I'm on my way to work. And so it was his soundbite in which he said he's like
But he said
it's
that last year though. I mean, Jerry said that last year. Whenever he
it's
was
the
talking
time.
to Stephen A. once before, he said that.
Okay, yeah, he's like the time is now. So we'll see how it goes. So of course that's our show for tonight. Y'all know where to catch us come this week, Sunday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, as we get into the Week 10 plays. We'll talk a little bit about the Monday night game, and chances are we'll be
Madness.
on during Thursday night game, and chances we'll be on during the early morning game. So, uh, y'all know what it is. Y'all know where to find us. Make sure you sit up and set that notification so when we go live, you're there front and center, falling in, and we go down. CC, before getting out of here, any last words?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to my man, associate of mine, Ike, man. Just one city councilman out in Siouxland, man. In Sioux City, man. Can't believe it, boy. Nice moves. I see people making moves. City councilman, man. You know what I'm saying? And he ran on the campaign, I like Ike. That was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying?
So y'all hear it here, Iceman. Shout out, councilman. Make sure you're doing good things for your constituents. As y'all see, all those people who are government workers or who are federal workers and what we're going through, because I is he working for free, expected workers from the furlough. So it's not the best of things. It's not the worst of things when you have other incomes, but it's not the best of things. And you see people are really struggling in some aspects. Just got to sit up and get together. Um, I'm very sure it's hard being a politician because you always have to even sit up and be you got to be for something, and sometimes you have to stand against other things, and sometimes you have to stand against the stuff in which you probably really stand for. So it's hard being a politician and trying to put yourself in position, I'm sure, because sometimes you have to crack some eggs to bake the cake, and but sometimes those eggs are very valuable. So I'm very sure it's hard out there. So I say to y'all, keep y'all head up. You know what I'm saying? The time is going to come. If you are a God feeling man and woman, then you already know that your Lord Jesus Christ has y'all's back and he's not going to let you falter. So that's always taking solace in that and knowing that, and you are going to be all right. He won't put anything on you in which you cannot handle. So until we're here again on Sunday, y'all be easy. Check out the game. Las Vegas Raiders, Denver Broncos. It's myself, Trade the Commission, my man CC. I'm very sure Bishop is somewhere. He's probably at work. But we up out of here. Peace. And we'll see y'all Sunday. Enjoy the game.